friends. This is Colleen.
And this is Margaret. And we're
the Cousins Weird. And we're not together.
Because I'm sick again.
Margaret's got the something.
The doctor said I had a negative COVID test, but they're pretty sure I have a sinus infection, and I might agree with them because I've taken like 3 rounds. I've taken my antibiotic 3 times, and I'm feeling a lot better. So.
Oh, good. Well, if that's
I'm
then it's infection of some kind.
And I shared this with Colleen already, but I'm sharing it with you too. I'm at home, upstairs in my bedroom, on the computer with Colleen, in a t-shirt and my underwear, and I'm not wearing pants. Because I'm home, and I don't have to.
You don't have
to. And I'm hot. It's like, it's not hot out, but it's muggy, and I'm sweaty, and I've been sweaty all day, and I'm unhappy about that.
It is. It's very muggy. It's been muggy for days, even though the temperature has gone down. It's not cool. So Margaret and I are going on a little girls' weekend this weekend. We're really excited about it. I've been packing for that. Yeah. And
I haven't.
I started today because I wanted to get it done because I knew I wanted to edit this. So it was like I was, scheduling myself. And plus I have pictures to edit because I did a wedding this weekend. So, you just I gotta set appointments for myself to do things or it doesn't get done. It doesn't get done.
Yeah.
But, what else is new? I don't know. Oh, we went and saw Trixie and Katya.
Korean food and it smells good. We did! It was amazing!
Oh my god. Trixie and Katya are amazing. If you can see them, go see them. It's worth every penny. I will go see them over and over again. There's no doubt their next tour I would definitely go see because I was crying, laughing. My face hurt. It was just a whole thing. So it was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I would do it 10 times over. It was so good. So, and I was watching. I woke up.
Expensive.
Well, I still would go. I don't care. Still would do it. It's worth every penny because it was worth live entertainment, though. It's nothing.
My jerk sister Jessica, if she's listening to this, sent me videos of a concert she's at where The Who, and it's the HU, not the shitty British band The Who.
How did she go to
that?
This is a
Mongolian metal band. They're playing at some other concert, and they're one of the bands opening, and I'm like, she's sending me videos of them, and I'm like, I hate you so much right now. Because, I've liked them for years, right? And my former brother-in-law, Dave, is the one that introduced me to The Who, and they're freaking amazing, and it's the HU, and they're Mongolian, and they're Mongolian folk metal, and they're freaking awesome. And I'm so sad that I'm happy that she's there, but I'm sad that it isn't me.
Right.
Sour grapes.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
Sorry. Is she there right now?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah. Extra bitter because it's happening in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
It is. It's the sisterly jealousy going on. This is her thing, though.
It is her
growing
thing.
up.
Definitely is her thing.
She's older than me, so she have a job, and I'm a poor, senior or whatever. And I'd say, "Oh my god, I love this band," and then she'd go out
and buy the CD or tape,
and buy the CD out from under me, and then say, "Oh, look, Margaret, look what I bought." I'm like, I don't like it anymore.
Oh yeah,
just because I was mad.
Yeah, because you're mad at her.
Oh, well.
That's what you do when you're sisters, though, isn't it? Siblings, that's what you do. All right. Are you ready for the episode?
The dawn of... Yeah, but with the dawn of, CDRs, then I would just go copy it.
I know, right?
That wasn't so
And now you
this is before...
Stuff online. You have to.
Yeah.
And listen to them on Spotify. And that's great. Or whatever listening device you use. I'm not partial to any because they all play us, so I won't advertise for one nor the other. Are you ready?
I am.
All right. So today we're talking about a haunting. We're talking about the Smurl family. And let's just, the name alone, this poor family, the name alone is terrible. Smurl.
It sounds like Daryl's other brother on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Daryl. Smurl.
Smurl.
Daryl Smurl. I'm Merle
Smurl. I'm so sorry to the family. I don't mean to laugh at your name. People probably laugh at mine. Butler, that's a stupid last name too. So anyway, this all begins in 1972. And the Smurl family lost their home to the Hurricane Agnes. They lived in Pennsylvania. So Hurricane Agnes came through in 72 and wiped out the East Coast. Like just is that the word? Pummeled the East Coast and ruined their home. So the family was displaced, obviously. And eventually they were able to purchase a duplex in 1973. And it was located at 330 Chase Street in Pittston, Pennsylvania. This home was originally built in 1896, and it was a fixer-upper for the Smurls. They were married, Jack and Janet, which is funny because Jack and Janet on Three's Company. I love it. Jack and Janet Smurl were married. They had 2 daughters at the time named Dawn and Heather, and they moved into the left side of the duplex, and Jack's parents moved into the right side. It took a lot of time and money and love to put into the house because it was a fixer-upper and it was older and it needed a lot of work, and they bought it at a good price. But things were okay. Things were fine. But little did they know, Margaret, the house would bring something demonic into their lives. Dun, dun, dun. At first, Margaret, your face. I wish people could see that. It's hysterical. Okay. At first, little things happened. Like house tools, as they were fixing the house, disappeared and reappeared in other places. And you just write that off as your family member moved it or you forgot. Because I put things places. I never know where I'm putting them. A few years went by were just weird, but explainable things were happening. In 1974, this is a year later, a stain appeared on one of their brand new carpets they put in. No explanation. No clue where it came from.
That is the meanest trick a ghost could do. What assholes?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're poor. You put in a new carpet. I'm going to put a big stain on it because I'm a jerk.
I'm a jerk.
Jeez.
Exactly. And no matter what they did, no matter how much they tried to clean it, the stain kept coming back. They couldn't get rid of the stain. The stain was just there. It was there forever. Nothing they could do about it. Then the family started to get woken up by banging sounds on the ceiling and the walls. But since it was an older home, the family just kind of wrote it off as the house settling or pipes making noises or, whatever. Because it's an old house. So you just kind of assume that old houses make noises. Things just got more weird, though, as time went on. The new pipes they installed burst. The toilets started to flush on their own. Which is just funny. Like, ooh, the ghost is using the toilet again. And then,
oh my God.
Very strangely, their TV just burst into flames one day. Just,
oh my God.
And they were like, our luck could not get any worse, could it? First our house is ruined in a hurricane. Then we buy this house and we're fixing it up, and stains in the carpet, and toilets is bursting, and pipes, and TVs catching on fire. It's a nonstop bad luck for them. So they put in a new tub and toilet, and then these weird scratches, like deep scratches, appeared in it that weren't there when they installed it. So they were like, where the hell did these creepy scratches come from in our toilet and our tub? We don't know. And then later on in 1974, their oldest daughter, Dawn, told her parents, she was probably like 7 at the time, told her parents that she saw people floating in her bedroom.
Oh, geez.
No, thank you. I don't want to see that.
I don't know. What would I do if Evie told me, Mom, I saw people floating in my bedroom last night? I don't know what I would do.
I probably wouldn't believe them at first. Be like,
I don't know if I would either. Like,
okay.
Well, that's cool. What were they doing?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
He looked at me and their faces peeled off, I
guess it depended on what this next sentence was. Like, what were they doing? Like, if she's like, oh, they were playing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if they're like, their faces peeled off and they tried to devour my soul, then I would be nervous. Concerned. Yeah. Yeah, so it depends on what they're doing, I suppose. It didn't say they asked her that or not.
They were whispering to each other. Then I'd be like, oh no, that's creepy.
That's creepy too. So time went on and continued to have weird things happen, like the noises and stuff, but nothing big. Then in 1977, the year of my birth, Janet gave birth to twin daughters, Shannon and Karen. And things in the house got much worse when that happened. I don't know if it was like the more children in the home, some kind of hormonal disruption from the pregnancy, having twins, what it was, but things got worse.
Old, crotchety, and they didn't like kids.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, these babies are crying all the time. They started hearing footsteps when no one was there. A radio they kept in the kitchen, unplugged, one day just started blaring music, Janet said. Dresser drawers would open and close on their own. Like that right there. Okay, I guess electronics turning on without being plugged in is creepy and awful. But when
you're playing music, it's fine. You can jam out.
True. But when your dresser drawers start opening, there's no explanation for that to me. I don't know how that opens, like just pulls open. Unless they're putting away laundry, don't mess with my dresser drawers. Like, if the ghosts are going to put away laundry, then I'm like, okay, go for it.
Oh, yeah. That's the kind of ghost you want.
I know. When the family would leave the house, they always locked their doors, and every time they came home, the doors would be wide open. Every time. They couldn't figure out what was going on. No one was in their house. Nothing ever got stolen. The doors would be open. They started noticing unexplainable cold spots throughout the house. And then, Margaret, then came the smell.
Oh, no.
It was a putrid, rotten smell.
No!
In their house. It would come and it would go. And when it came, it would be horrible. So this is like what? They've lived there for 4 years now. Things are getting weird enough where they're starting to think, okay, maybe this house is haunted. They start to believe that this is more than just an old home. Could be haunted. So things continued on, and it wasn't good, like things on and off. And then we kind of jumped to 1985. This is when Janet said she started hearing screams, moans, and snorting pigs.
Oh, God.
I don't like that. I don't want to hear a snorting pig. Either. She said that she would all of a sudden smell wood burning, and at times it would be so thick, her words were thick, like the smell in the air, it would almost be suffocating. A lot of times when she went up the stairs, she would like smell like wood burning really strong.
It's like you wonder if your house is on fire.
Yeah, and they would run around looking to see like what it could be, and there's nothing. Furniture started moving on its own, and it would stack up in different areas of the home. Not just move.
Oh no, that's
stack. That's not a good sign. Stacking furniture, that's not a good thing. I feel like if you have the power to stack furniture, you probably aren't nice. That's just my...
No.
There were times when the temperature would drop and Jack would feel a hand slide across his body, but couldn't see anything there.
No! That's when you say, I'm going to a hotel forever.
I do
ever again.
not consent to being touched. Ghost.
No.
So this is when, like, that stuff's all weird and not good. But one night, the family's German Shepherd was basically picked up and thrown violently across the room in front of the family by an unseen force.
Oh,
they said that he yipped.
Terrible.
I know. They said that he yipped like he was being kicked right before it happened. So this fucking ghost fucker kicked the German Shepherd across the road.
Poor dog.
Do what you want to the family. Don't mess with the pets. No,
Poor
that's not
puppy.
nice. Don't do that to anything. Not nice.
No.
One late afternoon, Shannon, who was now 7 years old, this was one of the twins, she was working on homework in the kitchen when the light above her started swaying violently. It all of a sudden snapped. And thankfully, Shannon, like, dodged out of the way. She ended up cutting her slightly. But it could have like killed her. Like it just started swinging out of nowhere. Jack and his father was an electrician. They're the ones that actually had put the light in, and they knew it was in securely. It was in a beam. It had like thick bolts holding it in, and the bolts were like ripped right through the wood. So something powerful.
Insane.
Yeah, like it wasn't a fan where it could get momentum. It was just a light hanging there. It just started swinging really fast. Janet started, obviously she was fearing for the safety because her child almost got smushed by a light or hurt by a light. She reached out to the local.
Terrifying.
It's horrible because you have your baby sleeping in that house, and if these things are happening that could hurt them, like, I don't want to be there. Janet obviously was fearful, so she reached out to the local Catholic church. They were Catholic themselves, and they went to the church, but the priest said that he would need more proof before he could do anything to help them. So they kind of felt like, what proof could we give you unless you came to my home and saw it, kind of thing. Like, how do we prove this? There were times where Jack's parents would hear what sounded like Jack and Janet screaming and throwing insults at each other. And they would come over to like see why are you so upset with each other? Because they were like screaming, like not their behavior normally. But they'd come over and they were just, there was nothing happening. They just heard, it sounded like them fighting, but there was no fighting happening.
And that's so creepy.
Yeah. But I want to point out that even though it was a duplex and they shared the house, on the right side where Jack's parents lived, they never experienced or saw anything. It was only the left side of the duplex that saw anything. So the parents on the right side, if they came over to the other side, they heard noises and stuff and saw things, but they never saw it on their side, which is weird.
That's strange.
One night, Janet woke up in a state of levitation.
Oh,
if I woke up and I was levitating, I'd just probably have a heart attack and die. So it wouldn't matter anymore.
I know. I'd be like, I would pee, and I wonder if the pee would levitate with me or if it would fall.
True. That's an experiment. Let me know if it ever happens.
Yeah, next time you're levitating and you pee yourself, let me know what happens.
Yeah, let me know.
Just pee. So
if anyone's ever levitated and then pissed themselves because they were levitated, let us know what happened to the pee. Did the pee drop or did it stay with you? So she wakes up levitating, and then something pulls her straight off the bed, like she was above the bed, pulled her right onto the floor. Jack was awake, but he was paralyzed and couldn't move. Sometimes
almost worse.
I had sleep paralysis one time. It was the worst experience of my life.
That's terrible.
It's the most horrifying thing that's ever happened to me. I swear, I know they say the sleep paralysis because you're half asleep and it's so you're subconscious, but there was something bad there. I don't care what anyone says. Something bad was there. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time.
Yes.
Jack and Janet, when they get into bed some nights, the bed would shake and rattle, and it wasn't because they were getting busy. It was because...
Oh, God.
It was because it was a ghost shaking and rattling the bed. I would never go in that bed again. I will sleep on the couch, thank you. I'm not going in that bed if it's shaking and rattling. No.
Although, Colleen, if you go to a hotel and they have the magic finger bed, you have to pay for that bed.
You have to do, that's true.
This was happening.
That's true. It was a free shake and rattle. Do they still have those magic fingers in bed?
I feel about that.
I would be gone.
Probably in the Midwest. It seems like something you'd find on a seedy hotel in the Midwest somewhere.
Yeah. Like a motel.
You know?
At a hotel.
A no-tell motel.
A no-tell motel.
Yeah.
The twins slept in bunk beds, and Shannon was on the top. One night, she levitated out of bed, out of the room, down the hallway, and down the stairs. Her mother came out of her bedroom because she heard something and saw her daughter floating down the stairs, and she landed in the bottom.
Oh my God.
What would you do if you walked out and Evie just floating down the stairs?
Evie would think it was great. Oh my God.
I would shit my pants.
I would shit my pants.
Like, what the fuck's
She would think it was the most fun thing ever to happen to her whole life.
Yeah, you're right. She would. This part's terrible. This is awful. This is really bad. I shouldn't even laugh, but okay. One late night, Jack had fallen asleep watching sports, as men do in the living room by himself.
Oh, yeah.
He was woken up violently and knocked onto the floor. Above him, it stood this entity of some sort that appeared to be female. At first, she looked very beautiful, and he couldn't stop staring at her. And then she quickly turned into a hag with rotten teeth.
Jeez.
She then hopped on top of him and raped him.
Oh my God. That's not funny.
He said that she would go from young to old throughout the incident that happened, and she was covered in slime.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about this, but
it's self-lubricating.
just self-lubricating. Jack says it was a succubus that came and attacked him. Apparently, he was very ashamed of what happened, and he confessed to his wife. And then she shared that she, too, was assaulted at night in bed while Jack lay asleep next to her. That something molested her in her sleep.
Terrible, rapey ghost that I don't like.
When you think of haunted houses and, like, campy fun, like Casper the Friendly Ghost houses, that's cute. This isn't the house that you want to be in haunted.
No.
They do not. They're bad. They're rapey and bad. Slimy
and rapey are
rapey.
You don't want.
I shouldn't even laugh. It's just so ridiculous that I can't help myself. I can't even imagine how horrifying and terrible it could be. I'm sorry that I'm laughing. It's just so ridiculous that my brain thinks it's a joke.
The fact that you're being violated, or the fact you're being violated by something covered with slime? Like,
the slime's worse part.
Like, the violation is bad enough, but then they gotta be slimy.
Gotta be slimy too. This is around 1986 that this happened. She no longer, Janet had it. She was like, I can't do this anymore. And she heard of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And I've talked about them before, and I just, for the life of me at this moment, I can't remember what episode of what I talked about them about. But they were pretty famous at this point as paranormal investigators. They were also Roman Catholic and are said to have very strong faith, and that makes them very good at helping families in bad situations like this. Ed Warren is a self-taught demonologist.
Self-taught demonologist?
Self-taught demonologist. Lorraine
you kind of have to be, if you're a demonologist, is there any other way to be then?
Well, maybe if you took what is it called? What's when you study religion called?
Theology majors?
Theology majors, maybe. There's a part about demonology. I don't know. Just saying. I think the Catholic Church, because they have exorcisms and stuff, I'm sure they do training on it. But Ed didn't have any formal training. He just said he was, and so he was. Lorraine said that she was clairvoyant and a medium. They formed the New England Society for Occult Research, psychic research. I spelled psychic with an O. So maybe it was occult and psychic. I can't. I don't know. My God. What made them
I laugh, I start to cough, so then I laugh, and then I immediately have to mute, because I'm like hacking afterwards. Yeah.
So their names are kind of in the news and out there because of, in 1977, I think, or something like that, they were the first people to investigate Amityville House. So they were kind of famous at the time, and that's how Janet heard of them. So the Warrens were the first people to actually believe the Smurls when they talked to them, because they're like, yeah, we, dealt with this already, so we know what you're talking about. So they traveled. We're professionals. They traveled from Connecticut to Pennsylvania. Even just after their first initial walk through the home, the Warrens said that there were 4 entities in the house. 3 were kind of minor, probably doing the moving of tools and small stuff. But 1 was a very powerful and angry demon. Ed told the Times in an interview, the Smurls were truly a family who was under a visible attack. The ghost, a devil, or whatever you want to call it, is in that home. He was convinced something very, very evil was in there and harassing this family. Ed's first night in the home, he said that he felt temperature drop in the house. And then he saw a dark mass form in front of him after he used the name Jesus Christ. So he said, in Jesus Christ's name, leave this house, and this thing appeared in front of him. So Ed and Lorraine Warren, and they had a kind of a team of investigators, spent months with the Smurls in their home. They picked up sounds on their EVP of like moaning and pig snorting and stuff like ugh. The pig snorting really gets me.
Pig snorting is like, no.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Don't like it.
That's like, I don't either. And I love pigs, but I don't want to hear that.
No, because it's not a happy pig snorting at you. Mm-hmm.
It's like boars in the woods that are trying to gore you and eat you for dinner.
Yeah, exactly. So they decided, the Warrens were like, okay, we are dealing with this big evil thing. We need to reach out to the Catholic Church. And they were like, they had it in with the church because they were Catholic and they're famous, so the church liked him. They were able to get help from the Vatican-mandated exorcist, Father McKenna, who apparently was a big deal. There wasn't a lot of information on the exorcisms themselves. I couldn't find anything. Maybe it's out there and I just didn't see it. Anyway, he ended up doing an exorcism, but
That's not any fun.
I know. I think he performed one, but he didn't see anything. It's basically what I think happened.
Yeah, probably.
But according to Ed and Lorraine and Jack and Janet, all that exorcism did was piss off this demon. He was fucking mad. Like, how dare you? So,
how dare you try to exorcise me?
Yeah. After that happened, Janet said she was molested again. Her daughter Karen fell suddenly sick and almost died from an unknown infection. Like this, it just came on out of nowhere and she almost died from it. Shannon, the other twin, was assaulted by this demon also after the exorcism. Yep. It's very rapey, touchy, bad demon. Janet and her mother-in-law ended up being covered in bites, bruises, and scratches. Don't even know how they got them. So the family felt like, okay, he's pissed and he's really attacking us now. Neighbors reported to the Warrens that they would hear strange voices and noises coming from the home when the Smurls weren't even home. So they were getting proof from outside the home that noises were happening there.
Nope.
So they convinced the Warrens again, went to Father McKenna and said, you have to come back to the house and do another exorcism. We have to try this again. And he was like, okay, I'll come back. Because I think he was friends with them or felt like an obligation to the Warrens to do this. During it, it's said that Ed felt a strong demonic force strangle him and that they caught EVPs of a demon saying insults to the Warrens themselves. Again, exorcism didn't have any results and the demon was still pissed off at them. So I don't think anything happened again that the priest could note. I think he performed what he's supposed to perform, said what he should have said, and I don't think anyone saw anything other than Ed feeling like he was being strangled. But I don't know if the priest was near him when that happened.
You know what? They needed the Winchester brothers to come in there and do some hoodoo in the walls and hex bags and shit.
I know, right? Yeah.
That's what they needed.
And they're much more handsome than Ed Warren.
Oh, really?
That's mean. That's mean. But they are handsome boys. Okay, so now you're thinking to yourself, all right, if this were me in a home with a rapey demon that was slimy, I'm moving, right? I'm out. Not saying.
Slimy, rapey demons are no-go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Passing.
But, you know, it's easier said than done. We always say, why would you live in a place that was this or that? But you have to have money to move, for one. They invested everything into this home.
Yeah, you can't just move.
They have 4 kids.
You have to sell your home before you can buy a new one.
Yeah.
You know?
But also, the thing was following them, like, not just in the house. Like, they were like, we need to get out of here. They went on a camping trip. And on the way, something was banging on the roof of their van, like, trying to get in. I got goosebumps saying that.
No.
That gave me goosebumps.
That's when you get holy water and you rub it all over the car.
I know. They said when they arrived at their campsite and got out of the van and unpacked, the van levitated a few feet in the air.
No!
While they were sitting, okay, I don't know what they saw, but while they were sitting around the campfire, something was so frightening that they couldn't even talk about it. And it scared them so much they got in the van and went back home. So whatever was around that campfire was scarier than the rapey demon in the house, which I think was the rapey demon. But maybe they got to see what it really looked like. I don't know.
Oh, God.
So
that camping trip that we took where we were in the lean-to and reading it.
Yeah.
Pretty terrified. And it wasn't really anything.
No, it doesn't take much. That might have been
one of the... Up until that point in my life, that is the scariest thing that ever happened to me. It wasn't anything.
It wasn't anything at all.
At this point, run back to your camp, to the tent.
Hopping in sleeping bags?
Yeah.
So, at this point, Janet was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, we can't even get away from this thing. Like, we can't even, if we leave the house, it's coming with us. Like, now it's attached to us. So she reaches out to the press. Plus, I mean, there's rumors going around because the Warrens were there and people started seeing, like, these weird people coming in and out of the house and whatever. So hoping that someone, if she put it out there publicly, would know what to do. Maybe someone can help us. Because the 2 exorcisms didn't work. And she reached out to the Diocese of Scranton to see if they would come and do something themselves. And they were like, no, we're not gonna. Nothing happened the first 2 times, why would we come out again? So she basically had no option because they're going to follow them if they move. So there's nothing else they can do. So she's like, I'm going to go to the news and see if I go to the news, maybe someone out there will know something more and we'll get more people that know. Because it's not like they have the internet, right? Like it was like print media in the 80s. It was like print media or TV stations. So you had to get yourself out there. You had to go viral.
Seriously.
That way. You know, it had to be all over the news.
There was no viral in the 80s.
There was a viral, though. They went viral. So when it started spreading, the news of this house and all the stuff, and that Ed and Lorraine were there, Warrens were there, and all the things that were happening, it went to a frenzy. But Janet's quoted saying, "Some people wonder if there's a heaven or hell. Well, in this house, we know heaven and hell exist because we've seen both sides." So that was the quote that she gave the paper. And then people were going nuts. Newspapers from all over the country were going to Pennsylvania to like parking on their lawn, parking on their street, like camping out around the house. It was attracting people from all over just to see the house. It became a crazy, crazy mess.
Yikes.
The family ended up being interviewed by tons of TV stations and newspapers. Journalists were camping in their front lawn, harassing neighbors, trying to get neighbors to interview with them. It was just crazy.
Guys, I've never heard of this before. And this isn't like, this is our neighbor. Like,
yeah. And it was only in the 80s.
I know. Like, how do we not know about this?
I don't know. It was during this time that some people started to doubt anything that they said. They were questioning, are they making this up because they knew they were like, didn't have a lot of money? Maybe they wanted to get rid of the house. Maybe they needed some money. Are they making up this story? And what really caused a lot of people to start questioning wasn't the levitations and the slimy rapes. That didn't me. What made them question the validity? Is that this word?
Validity.
Validity. No, I was thinking levitation.
Lividity is when you die and your blood settles to the bottom.
Yes. Validity. I was levitating and validating.
Yes.
In one word. Yeah. Anyway, the validity of what they were saying is that the Warrens told reporters that the house was a gateway to another dimension. That house specifically was the exact spot where a gateway was. So people were like, okay, I'm calling some bullshit. I'll believe your slimy, rapey demon, but I'm not believing that this is a gateway. Like, I'm like, what? That made you question it? Because the slimy, rapey demon made me question.
Yes.
If these people were sane or not. Like, that's what I was like, what?
Slimy, rapey hag.
Listen, if that happened, I am horribly sorry that I'm laughing about it.
I'm sorry. If there was a slimy, rapey hag with rotten teeth in my room, I'd be out. There's some old hag with rotten teeth and she's covered with slime. Bye.
I don't care if she's a ghost or a real person. I'm not staying to find out.
I'm not either. I'm like, nope. I'm good. I'm out. You can have the house. I'm done.
So Lorraine reaches out to another medium. Her name is Mary Alice Rinkeman. And she came to the house and she agreed with the Warrens that there were 4 entities in the home, 3 being people, 1 being a demon. She was able to identify one spirit as a gentle older woman named Abigail, who probably didn't really do much of anything. The second one was a black man named Patrick, and he had killed his wife and her lover in that house. The third, she wasn't able to identify, but she said definitely Patrick and Abigail weren't really violent. I mean, Patrick killed his wife and stuff, but he wasn't. It was pretty
violent.
That's violent, but he wasn't being violent to the family. It was the demon. There was definitely a demon in the house. So again, the Warrens went to the church with more proof. So a priest from the diocese said, okay, we haven't seen anything.
So the church is taking the proof of a psychic.
Yeah.
More than one. So because there's 2 psychics now, the church is like, okay, we believe you now.
What really, in my opinion, in my opinion, what really was, there was a huge media circus around this, and the church didn't want to look bad. So they're like, okay.
That's probably it.
I think that's it, because I think they had some media pressure, like interviews and stuff. So they're like, okay, we'll come one more time. So they came.
Obviously, it's not working. It did nothing.
No. So this time, instead of doing exorcism, the priest came from the Diocese of Scranton, came and spent 2 nights in the house. He was planning to spend more time, but when nothing at all happened for those 2 nights, he like, I'm out. Like, there's nothing going on here. It's a normal house. So according to the Smurls, stuff is happening all the time. And the Warrens are saying stuff is happening. So for nothing to happen for 48 hours, either they're making shit up, or this ghost demon slime witch is like the dancing frog in Looney Tunes, right? Like when the priest is around, it doesn't do anything. When the priest leaves, it does it. I don't know which it is. How do you prove it? I don't know. Now, the Warrens said that they saw a lot of stuff. They witnessed unsettling events throughout the home. They said a TV was unplugged and the screen lit up on its own. Objects like a double dresser moved around like they were dancing. Doors would swing open and shut on their own. And these doors specifically were ones that were on a thick carpet. So for them to open them, they actually had to lift up on the door to get it to slide across the carpet. So it wasn't like one that could just open on its own, basically. The Warrens had like a group of people that investigated stuff with them. And one was a police officer. His name was Roger Coyle. And he was with them during an investigation outside of the Warrens or the Smurls' bedroom. They were trying to see, if there were spirits in there because they levitated and the bed shook. And even Lorraine and Ed, when they laid in their bed one night and it shook for them too, they said. So when they were investigating in the hallway outside, they were using religious provocations to provoke the spirit, the demon, like saying prayers and shit. I don't know. All of a sudden, he felt pressure on his neck again, like he's being strangled. And he was thrown 10 feet back into the bedroom onto the bed. The police officer who was with him, Roger, he ran over and threw holy water on him. And at that point, the demon released his grip on his throat. So he was physically attacked. Nice. There's an interview. I'll link it in the notes of the show or in the description. There's an interview that you can read on Scribd with him, Lorraine, and Ed, and they're different. Very, 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 very religious. The interviewer asked them, why would a demon want, or succubus want to, why do they rape people? Like, do they take pleasure in that? And he said, no, they don't. They're doing it to laugh in Jesus Christ's face because they're trying to put an end to God's procreation. Like, that was their reasoning for it, why he got raped. They talk in very much circles. Both of them do. Very much wrapped up in everything to do with this stuff. Like, they're just, anyway.
Kind of like lots of mumbo jumbo going on.
Yeah, a lot of just nonsense. They talked a lot of nonsense. I was trying to be nice, but it's really just nonsense, okay?
Yeah.
So they couldn't get help from the Vatican or anything, so they went to the local church, and they agreed to send 3 priests, and several parishioners agreed to join them to do their own exorcism. They were going to do one in the home. Ed Warren was putting it all together. It was not something that the Vatican authorized to happen. It was just something that it was like a private exorcism. So surprisingly, it seemed to work for a bit. Like, there was nothing after that. For 3 months, they lived in peace, but the media and everything was still there. And they decided, okay, now there's not anything going on in our lives. This thing's not going to follow us because it's not here anymore. They were being harassed. Like, apparently they were getting rocks thrown through the window from media, or people harassing them about being liars, and they were having all sorts of different kind of harassment happen. Either people wanting interviews, or people thinking they're a bunch of liars, or kooks or whatever. And the kids are being harassed, so they're like, we're just gonna get out of here. The spirit's gone. We've lived in peace in that sense for 3 months. So they moved into their new home, and shortly after being in the new house, Jack said that he saw another dark shadow form in front of him. He tried praying and holding the crucifix, and that didn't work. So it started happening all over again in this new house. So they reached back out to the Warrens. They're like, listen, it's happening again. So in 1989, somehow they convinced the Warrens a church sanctioned another exorcism. And what happened was kept completely secret, even though the other ones didn't have any details on them. So I don't know what the difference is, but it said that it was the longest and most powerful one that they endured. So I think the church actually saw stuff happen this time. I'm assuming, because the other ones were very short and nothing really happened. And from that day forward, there was no more paranormal, no more demonic activity. The family said that they were clear. Nothing happened after that. So from 1989 on, the family has lived, in safety, not being slime raped and all that stuff. So that's a good thing. When I said that Ed and Lorraine were interviewed, when they asked him why this family, why were they being attacked? Because they made a big deal about saying that this was a good Catholic family. They didn't play with Ouija boards. They never did seances. They didn't do bad things. This was an upstanding family. They went to church. He was coached Little League. She formed some other group, and they were just wonderful people. And
they blah, 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 play with a Ouija board.
Yeah, I know. See what I mean? So they made a big deal about that. Like, they said it like, this family was a good family, and they were being attacked. So when he asked, well, then why are they being attacked? And Ed Warren said, that the Smurls were the chosen ones. He says that the chosen ones are people of strong faith, and God feels that he can prove through them when the devil attacks, God will win in the end. And he said no other family could have withstood what the Smurls did because God knew that they were going to be okay. So God chose them to be attacked by the demon.
And slime raped?
Why would God choose that? I don't understand
That's indicating that God can control demons, and if God had that much control over demons, then why wouldn't he just banish them to hell?
Yeah, or maybe God, or are you saying God and the devil are the same person? What are you saying? What he's saying makes no sense if he's trying to say that God was, God's going to teach everyone else a lesson through this family. Well, that's not cool. That's not cool. Slime rape isn't cool.
No.
So the Warrens, to me, don't really have a lot of, I don't really think I believe a word they say. There was a man named Robert Curran. He ended up writing the book that's out there called Haunted, The True Story of One Family's Nightmare in 1989. Robert's a journalist, and he dug into the Smurl story, and he wrote it with the Smurls and with the Warrens. It ended up being a made-for-TV movie in 1991. A lot of people say it's very one-sided. They only have the explanations from the Smurls and the Warrens, nothing from the church, really. No other people just tell you what happened in the house, so it's very much no different than anything else you found out about it. It's all through the Smurls or the Warrens. Now, what the family says it had experience has been discredited by many people. People believe the Smurls made it all up for money or attention. People say they were financially struggling at the time and really had nothing else to lose. So why not pretend we're being slimed raped? I don't know. Why would you make that up either? I don't, who thinks of that? Who thinks of that?
I don't know.
If it didn't happen, what is wrong with you that you thought that was a good idea to say? I don't get it.
No. Yeah.
One of the big people that disproved or discredited the Smurls was Dr. Paul Kurtz. He's the chairman of the Committee for Scientific Investigation of Claims of Paranormal from the University of Buffalo. So he's one of our neighbors. He used science to explain a lot of the happenings within the house, like the smell and the noises. And he didn't say anything about the slime rape, but everything else he's
How can you explain that scientifically other than having a warped mind?
Yeah. He says that the story of the Smurls, the big flaw is it's only testimony from the Warrens and Smurls. There's no independent investigators that brought in. No one else was brought in other than people that worked with the Smurls closely or the Warrens closely. So he's like you didn't bring in other sources. Now, when he put all this stuff out there, it happened before he had that interview that I read, Ed Warren, and he said he was his committee should be a committee of atheists because they weren't believers in God, and they would do anything to disprove evil because it disproved God, and they wanted to disprove God, so that's why he said it wasn't true. because he's an atheist, Margaret. But he believes in science. Oh, how do you believe in science?
Yeah. How?
But priests, TV producers, experts in paranormal, journalists have all scrutinized the Smurl story, and many of them are like, don't believe it. June 2000.
That priest who spent the night there, he spent the 2 nights there, he must have been an atheist too.
He must have been, because he didn't see anything.
Must have been. I know.
June 2015, Karen Smurl, who was one of the twins, she's now a social worker, and sometimes she does paranormal investigation of her own. She was interviewed by the Citizen's Voice. She said that her family was harassed and terrorized when the story got out. People would say they were looking for a quick buck. She said that they never saw a dime from the book or movie. She said they never got any money from anything that ever happened. She also said, why would anyone put themselves through all that media and public harassing if it wasn't true? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Just how they sold their house. It'd go one way or the other. The people buying it because they want a haunted house, or people wouldn't buy it because it's haunted.
Yeah. Jack Smurl had passed away in 2017. Janet and her daughters all live near West Pittston, Pennsylvania, and they've reported no activity since that final exorcism. They haven't seen any ghosts, anything happening since then. People who live in the 330 Chase Street home never experienced any paranormal or demonic activity. So, was it real? Or was it an elaborate hoax by the Smurls? We'll never know. And the thing that really got me too was, so Jack's parents never saw anything on their side of the house. Only things happened. And part of me wonders if they knew Jack and Janet, if they were going to fake it, maybe the parents wouldn't go along with something so ridiculous or not want to lie. So they wouldn't put them in, and maybe they really were screaming and hollering at each other. And when the parents came over, they pretended they weren't. There's a lot of things. The only thing that made it sound like the parents experienced anything was when after one of the exorcisms, the mother-in-law or the mom, Jack's mom, had bites and bruises and scratches on her. But that's just stuff said by the Warrens. That's not, who knows if she really did or not. I don't know. But interesting fact, Margaret, the Conjuring universe, Conjuring the Devil Made Me Do It, is based off the Smurl case files.
Really?
Yeah. The Warrens, Ed and Lorraine, actually have written many books. They authored many books about the paranormal. They investigated over 10,000 cases in their career.
I'm surprised that they actually wrote books.
You wrote
it's
books.
Amazing.
They are famous for their first investigation, obviously, at Amityville. So a lot of their stories have been made into TV series, films, documentaries about them. Some of the things that they investigated. In 1968, a case about a haunted doll is what Annabelle, the movie, is based off of. Yeah. It was a Warren case. The Penor family in 1971. This family was haunted by a 19th century witch. Amityville in 75. The Enfield poltergeist in 77. Arns John, a possession case in 1981. The Sneldler house in 1986. It was a former funeral home infested by demons. And then they did the Smurl house. So those are some of the biggest ones they did, but they apparently investigated 10,000. I don't even know how you have time to do that many, but people who studied the Warrens and kind of looked into their validity state that they feel like they were nice people, not trying to hurt anyone. And they were sincere, they thought they really were helping people. But there was no evidence of anything that they ever saw or did. There's no evidence. There's no way to prove that any of this stuff happened. It's just a bunch of stories, basically. So not anything to take seriously. They actually had their own occult museum in their home that had a bunch of artifacts and possessed objects in it. It's closed now after they passed away. It got closed down, but it was interesting. The story is interesting. And I was at first, I'm like, oh, that's creepy. And then when they started talking about the rape, I was like, what? I don't think I believe that. The slimy hag witch. But I mean, if it happened, I feel mean for laughing about it and making fun of it because it's not funny. It's not funny if it's real. But what's your opinion, Margaret? What do you think about
I was like more believing of it up until the slime rape. Then I was like, oh, okay.
It was just weird, right? Like, it just doesn't seem. And like he was raped by a succubus, and then she was raped, and then the daughter was assaulted, and I don't know. It's very strange. And they said in the movie, I have to watch this movie. I did not see it in 91, but I need to watch it now. It's a made-for-TV movie, and the rape scene, I guess, is like a flashing back and forth between a woman and a creepy hag, like flashing.
Yikes.
Horrifying. But anyway, the Smurl case, you can read the book that they wrote with, how did they not get any money from that book? It was their story. They had to have, right? Like, the daughter says they never saw Penny, but maybe she didn't.
Yeah, she might. Maybe they lied to her too, you know?
They could have. I mean, they were young. Like, the twins, I think by the time they moved out of that house, they were only like 8 or 9 when they moved out. The daughters, the older ones, were teenagers. Maybe they did. Who knows? But anyway, that's the case of the Smurls. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think the Smurls are for real? Or do you think they made it all up for attention or money or whatever they wanted? Or maybe the Warrens contacted the Smurls. Maybe they paid them off to fake it so they can keep their fame because they just riding high off Amityville House. So who knows? I mean, there's a lot of different things you could say about it. But anyway, regardless, it's interesting. And we want to know, so you should let us know.
Yeah, and how you do that is you send an email. And the email that you can send to is thecousinsweird@gmail.com.
And another thing you want to do is make sure you're following us on Instagram and Facebook because we always post pictures from our episodes on there. So you're going to want to see some of the weird pictures I got for this episode and other ones we have on there. It's always fun to put the picture to what we talked about afterwards to kind of round out the whole story. And you'll never miss an episode because we always share them on there. And then you can share them with your friends on your socials, which helps us immensely.
And you could send us a direct message through Facebook or Instagram as well. If you don't want to do an email. Like us, rate us, share our posts.
If you want to support our podcast, you can go to patreon.com/thecousinsweird. For $1 a month, you become a freaky friend and you get a free sticker and bonus episodes. And for $5 a month, you become a terrible trender. You get the same as the freaky friends, but you also get ad-free episodes and you will get a monthly chat and a yearly gift. So yay. If you want to do that, that's awesome. Patreon.com/thecousinsweird. Oh, we have a cool thing coming up for our spooky month's coming up. So we're going to have some fun Halloween-esque episodes. So stay tuned for those. And then we have a special Halloween feature we're going to do. And I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but we have it in the works right now. And I'm excited.
Yay, me too.
I think that's a wrap now.
I've already been planning out my main spooky episode, so I'm looking forward. All right, so stay freaky.
Bye.
Bye.